Alright, so welcome back to Pinoyscreencast. I'm Arnavino, and today I'm going to share to you my review of the ASUS Zenbook UX305CA. So to get started, they sent me out the color white variant of the UX305, and to be honest, it's my first time to have a color white laptop. With that, I really can't say anything bad in terms of its color, and it's actually in terms of its build. It's luxurious, gorgeous, lovely, and yeah, I just fell in love with it. So in terms of performance, here's how it goes. It's packed with a dual-core Intel Skylake Y M3 6Y30 processor, running with 900 MHz and can boost up to 2.2 GHz. 4 GB of RAM using the integrated Intel HD Graphics 515. 128 GB M.2 2280 SSD with a 13.3-inch IPS panel display with a super light form factor which weighs only 1.2 kilograms for a price of only $39,990. I got here the gorgeous silky smooth ceramic white color, which is now actually my favorite color for a laptop. While on top, nothing too fancy, just a smooth texture with the SNSV branding. ASUS branding. I'm not sure if you noticed the diamond cut edges. It really looks elegant on my own opinion. While at the bottom we have 4 rubber grips and the left and right speaker grills, which I'll get back to it later. Now on the left side we have 2 USB 3.0 ports and a SD card slot. Now I noticed the card slot doesn't have any lock or click sound, so when inserting the card it's really loose and it easily gets off, so just take note of that. While on the right side is the AC adapter port, another USB 3.0, micro HDMI, headphone jack, and a LED indicator. The first indicator on the right is for the battery, so it lights up when charging and when it's running out of juice. The second one is actually the hibernate indicator, which actually at first I really don't know the purpose because it's just a bulb. Then after several attempts, well, I finally got it, so that's how it works. Screen has a great viewing angle. It's a full HD 1080p display with a matte finish texture. It's actually decent and it's surprisingly bright. I just didn't notice until I pressed the auto adaptive light feature, which is located on the keyboard. So the brightness on the screen depends on your environment. If you disable that, it will automatically be in a full brightness. Now the webcam. Great news, it's 720p resolution, but like any other laptop webcam, it just gets the jobs done. But nothing too fancy here. It's okay for video calling and Skyping. But other than that, it's okay. Checking out the keyboard, first and foremost, it doesn't have any backlighting, but the travel key is pretty adequate, has a tactile feel. I love the spacing, and I'm glad it has a large palm rest. It really makes the typing so comfortable, although the arrow keys are cranked up on the side, but it's okay. But I don't like the position of the power button because sometimes I accidentally click on it when pressing the delete key. But then again, I love the feel and the key travel. For the trackpad, it's large and responsive, although sometimes I'm not sure why gesture doesn't work, but maybe it just depends on the application. But I didn't have any issues in terms of the left and right buttons of the trackpad. It's clicky and accurate. Maybe ASUS already fixed the old issues of the right click having a weird sound when clicking on it. But for the most part, I actually use the trackpad and less help from a mouse, which is surprising since actually I never experienced a decent trackpad for Windows unless it's a Mac. But overall, it's a thumbs up. Great job, ASUS. The hinge of the display can't be opened as flat as 90 degrees. It's limited to 130, but if you look closely at the bottom, it has this small foot that lifts the back part to give it airflow. Since this device is a fanless, but to my surprise, checking out the temperature, I didn't get any temps above 50 degrees. My max is actually just 47 degrees in some portion, but for most of the parts, it's just 35 degrees. So this device actually doesn't heat up too much, which is a great thing. Now, the speakers. Since it's at the bottom, I don't expect it will give a great sound quality, but you'll be the judge. Here's the actual sound like. Finally, moving on to the performance. Let's start with the productivity tools. Usually, on my personal preference, I use a laptop for video editing. And again, to my surprise, it actually can edit videos and can actually cut fast on the timeline using the Adobe Premiere Pro CC. Scrubbing the timeline was smooth. Rendering time took only 3 minutes for a 1-minute video, which is not bad for an OpenCL renderer. So Photoshop, Illustrator, Lightroom, and After Effects will run, but then it just needs to be optimized or else you'll have a blue screen because it just have a 4 gig of RAM. So use it wisely, but for the most part, since booting time is so fast, once it hang up, it can easily restart and you'll be back in just less than 30 seconds. And oh, if you're curious about the speed of the M.2 drive, here's a speed test using Crystal Disk benchmark and the Blackmagic speed test. The results are expected, it's blazing fast, but then it's only 128 gigabytes, so if you have the luxury to choose a higher model, well, go for it. But then since this device has 3 USB 3.0 ports, putting internal drives and peripherals like mouse is not a problem. Like what I've said on my live unboxing, this is not for gaming, but it can run most MOBA games like Dota 2. I get around 30 to 40 FPS on the lowest settings, so if you want to play from time to time, it does the job. And also I tested out the CSGO on the default settings. I get less than 20 FPS, but once you have adjusted the settings to even lower, you can have a fairly 30 FPS playing this game, which is not actually bad. But then again, I do not recommend using this for intensive gaming. Maybe some Hearthstone is more preferable, but in terms of battery life, I got roughly 3 hours for continuous gaming, and for casual use, about 8 hours, and the standby time actually works well. The only issue I got is when I download using the Wi-Fi. Since this review didn't come with a Ethernet adapter, I needed to rely on my Wi-Fi connection. And in that result, I was surprised that it doesn't give my full speed. Just for the record, I have a 100 Mbps speed for the download and 50 Mbps for the upload. As you can see, I only receive a max peak of 200 megabytes per second, which usually I receive up to 11 megabytes per second when downloading on Steam. So to verify this, I download the same game at the same time with my connection on my desktop and the UX305. As you can see on my desktop, I get almost all the speed it needs, but then on the laptop, it still gets the 2.7 megabytes per second max peak. So when I check the specs of the Wi-Fi, it actually has a speed of only 60 Mbps, so which means it's really limited. It won't really maximize if you have a high-speed connection. So if you want to maximize the download, maybe having the Ethernet adapter is a must. So that's about it. For final thoughts, ASUS didn't let us down with this beast of a machine. Even it's just limited in terms of storage and Wi-Fi speed, performance is really outstanding. It gets the jobs done. It's lightweight and sexy. Battery is superb. I really can't say any bad about this device in terms of its price and performance. Speedy drives helps you finish your work, and that's what the UX305 gives you. And oh, don't forget to choose the white color if you're planning to purchase this, and you won't regret it. So there you go, that's the full review of the ASUS Zenbook UX305. And again, it's a highly recommendable laptop, and in terms of performance, build, and quality, it's a big thumbs up. It's just, again, the issue of the Wi-Fi, which I'm not getting the full speed, is just my main concern. But then the trackpad, the keyboard, the layout, and everything, it's almost perfect. If you got the money to spare for a higher variant, you can go upgrade for the highest variant. But then if you're just on a tight budget, you're just looking for a starting price for a Ultrabook, the CA is actually a good choice. I was surprised I can fully utilize it in terms of productivity. All the things that I'm doing, editing videos, uploading videos, and doing some social media stuff. So it's a big thumbs up. Again, I really can't say anything bad about this Ultrabook. It's one of the best competitor for the MacBook Air, I can say. It's lighter, its form factor is almost perfect. So there you go. Hopefully you like this content, and if you do so, just give a thumbs up and don't forget to share this content. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button there at the bottom of this video. And once again, I'm Arnavino of Pinoyscreencast.net, and see you on my next video.